Here we're looking at three Vietnam era Green Berets. All three of these berets were acquired at the same estate sale in Tennessee in 2021. And all three berets were originally owned by Staff Sergeant Lee Sinclair. Staff Sergeant Sinclair served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam and was awarded the Silver Star and 2 Purple Hearts. He had been an instructor with the MACV Recondo School and had also served with MACV SOG's Command and Control North. Unfortunately, he was killed in a training exercise in 1969. Here we're looking at the first of the 3 berets. And this beret here is a standard issue beret that we see. It has a U.S. made 5th Special Forces Group flash on it. And we see this beret still has the lining in it. It'll have the standard men's wool beret, rifle green color, and a DSA contract date in it. We also see that on this beret, it has the eyelets on it. The Vietnam era official issue berets had the eyelets. And when we're looking at the contract date, it says DSA 100-67. The 67 designates that this was from the 1967 contract. This here is an article from the Honolulu newspaper discussing the unfortunate death of Staff Sergeant Lee Sinclair. We're looking at the second beret, and this beret here again has a U.S. made 5th Special Forces Group flash on it, but we see a big difference on it is the lining. The lining on this one had been removed and replaced with a different interior. Sometimes U.S. Special Forces would remove the linings on their berets and have it replaced, have a tailor embroider their name in the beret or what unit they were serving with, and that's what we see on this one here. It's embroidered Sergeant Lee E. Sinclair, Instructor, NR195, and has a Recondo patch. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Staff Sergeant Sinclair had been an instructor with the MACV Recondo School. Now, of the 2.7 million men and women that served in Vietnam, only about 5,300 were actually went to the MACV Recondo School, and of that number, I believe about 3,300 actually passed the course. It was a 3-week course that would be a good training for the soldiers that would go on to be reconnaissance units, and also there were some personnel from South Korea, Republic of Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, and Australia that also were trained at this school. It was a 3-week course in total. And when we're looking at the patch that's in the beret, the standard Recondo School patch that the graduates would receive didn't have the beret and the dagger incorporated into their patch. So this here appears to be a variation. I don't know if it was a variation that was made for instructors or what was the deal with it. This here is the rappel tower that was located at the MACV Recondo School. And we see on the back side of the tower, it's got a large Recondo logo on it, which is very similar to the patch that's in the beret. This here is the same rappel tower, just a different view of it. Now, both of these photos of the tower came from sogsite.com. And this here is the third beret. This is, again, when we flip it over, we see that it's got a U.S. made 5th Special Forces Group flash on it. And we see that, just like the second beret, that the lining had been replaced. On this one here, it's got a really nice tiger embroidery. And it's also got a lot of Staff Sergeant Sinclair's information. We see that it says Staff Sergeant Lee E. Sinclair, and then it's got what I'm guessing is his Army serial number, and it says HHC CNC Detachment, 5th Special Forces Group Airborne, 1st Special Forces, FOB1. And if you're not familiar with some of the abbreviations, HHC stands for Headquarters and Headquarters Company. CNC Detachment is Command and Control Detachment. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Staff Sergeant Sinclair had served with MACV SOG's Command and Control North. There was Command and Control North, Central, and South, and all three of these would have been under the direction of Command and Control Detachment. And FOB1 is for Forward Operating Base 1. That was the operating base for MACV SOG's Command and Control North. And so all this information here basically says that he was 5th Special Forces, serving at that time in the Command and Control Detachment, Forward Operating Base 1. This here is the gravestone in Honolulu for Staff Sergeant Sinclair. There we see all three of the berets together, and you can see that each one, all of them having 5th Special Forces Group flashes on them. Each one's a little bit different, telling a little bit different story of his career in the Army. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, unfortunately, while he was on his second tour of duty, his first tour was in 1967, 1968. The second tour started in 1969. Unfortunately, in May of 1969, while he was on a training exercise, a grenade accidentally detonated, and he unfortunately passed away from his wounds. I hope that you've enjoyed this video showing some of the different characteristics of these berets, and if you have, I encourage you to like this video and to share it and subscribe. Thanks.